but there have been some breakdowns, I guess I'll admit, that, warrants that help is needed. And help is always, for me, very difficult to ask for. So I'm really looking forward to having Wednesday afternoons, which actually, and I was going to say this at the end, but I'll say it here. That would mean I'm actually going to move this show to Wednesdays rather than Tuesdays, because I will have more predictable timing that I can dedicate to being here and to showing up and having a more or less clear idea of what I want to talk about every single time, and just so I could show up as my best self for you. So we're moving to Wednesdays, and I'll repeat this again at the end in case you missed it, but all of this is to say I have asked for help, and I'm excited about it with a little bit of guilt. But this is really in the 3D realm, and I want to talk also about the possibility of asking help from other sources, other dimensions, dare I say. So I have played with this for a few years, and it doesn't matter who you invoke or what you invoke. God, all that is, the universe, angels, spirit guides, master teacher, even Pleiadians, asking anyone, anything, it doesn't matter. It works. And I've had firsthand experience several times over. And this came up again recently as I was listening to an interview, which is, as I have said in the past, really one of the things that I'm into right now, and listening to Regina Meredith interviews on Gaia TV. And there was this one guest who said, all you have to do sometimes when you just need, either you need your bases covered, or you don't know what the answer is, or you feel powerless, or really for anything, just ask. And the new thing that I learned, because I have always asked in my head, and it has worked, but this guest said that it's even more powerful when you speak out loud, when you ask for help out loud. And the way that he suggests phrasing it, which I've been playing with lately, is to, when you're talking about yourself, say, I request the most benevolent outcome for ... And he said, if you're talking about other people, or you're asking on behalf of other people, instead of saying I request, to say I ask. That I thought was interesting. And the way that he explained it is that there are those beings, spirits, who are working directly with us, each of us as individuals. And then they know what is best to get through to each individual. So you can request help from your own, and you can ask for help on others' behalves. So the most benevolent outcome. I have, every single time actually I get into the car, for years, I have been saying, please protect me. And then sometimes if anyone else is in the car, I'll say, please protect me. Please protect my son. Please protect my car and all the people and cars around. And so this past week, I've been saying, I request and ask for the most benevolent outcome on this drive, so that I am protected, my son is protected, this car is protected, and everyone around is protected as well. I think it really is just doing the same thing, but I'm trying to get into the habit of saying the most benevolent outcome, because even when I'm asking for help from higher dimensions, even I feel like I need to control how it's done. And sometimes, not sometimes, really, we are a veiled species. We don't have necessarily an inkling of every possibility out there. And there could be possibilities. And I think this was even said in the card description that I just pulled at the beginning of this, that we don't always know the best ways for things to work out. There could be far superior outcomes if we just release our hold, release our control, surrender, which I think really evokes a card from a couple weeks ago. Everything comes around, doesn't it? It's all interconnected. It's all interrelated. I guess those are the terms of the day, aren't they? Anyway, yeah, I'm working on this, taking a back seat, releasing control, relinquishing the control, not just in 3D to, a nanny who will be watching my beloved child, but also in the higher dimensions to help guide me along different avenues, sending different insights and opening things up in ways that I really couldn't imagine. Even, going back to the nanny, even how we found her was in a way that was unexpected because we had interviewed someone else first, and that was me in my control mode thinking, this is how I'm going to reach out. This is how I'm going to find someone. It has to be this way. And she was nice and everything, but we really weren't quite sure. And then somehow we were sent information from someone that we don't really know very well, but this came through my husband. So someone that my husband kind of sort of knows then sent information for these people. It's a really nice couple. And I guess they had just asked him. This is a very similar story to the milk donation story that I've talked to you about before, being connected with a really good friend now, a friend that I really value. It's just because we both asked the same person within an hour, and we were connected. And this was a very similar story where my husband had just floated this idea to someone he was meeting for coffee or for lunch or something. And he had just been asked by people that he kind of knows, a very similar, like the mirror thing. They were looking for work, and Nick was looking for help for us. So anyway, I just love these synchronicities. It's so cool. And when we talked to them, I knew this was really how it was supposed to happen. And so I feel as though, of course, we'll see as time goes on, but I do feel really excited and intuitively feel like this was exactly how the outcome was supposed to be. And it was just because at some point I asked for that most benevolent outcome. So what is it in your life that you could maybe ask for the most benevolent outcome for? It could be a parking spot. I've actually done that in the past. And that's actually quite a story because it ended up being a very dramatic thing. But then I ended up getting the prime parking spot. This was when I was still in the corporate world. I ended up getting the prime parking spot right up front for a full 30 days, I believe. It was a long time. And no one is supposed to be parking up front anyway. It was kind of dramatic because someone who had reported to me, I was assistant vice president at this point. Yeah. And someone who had been reporting to me who was fairly new, he was kind of weird. He didn't respect me very much. I think it's because I was younger than he was, and a woman, which isn't, I don't typically think in those terms, but he made it very clear that was why. I really didn't get his respect, unfortunately. Anyway, and he had a military background, which is great. Thank you to everyone who is serving and who has served. My grandfather was in the Air Force his entire career. And my dad had been in the Air Force for a little bit as well. So nothing against the military. It's just that he would talk about certain things in such a way that there was, to other people on our team, there was a little undertone of like an obsession of violence and such. Anyway, so he got up and walked out one day, quitting without really telling anybody. And because of that, then upper management was worried on my behalf because he had shown a lot of signs to other people that he was very aggressive towards me. So he was out of the picture. He was gone. And then for my safety, upper management gave me a prime parking spot right up front, right by the front door, for 30 days. It may have been a little bit longer. I don't quite remember. But this was following on the heels of me asking for the best parking spot. I had invoked those higher beings. In my case, I invoked my master teacher, my spirit guides, and this is how they figured all of that out, and released a very negative energy from the workplace, which at that point was the majority of my life. And they just figured it all out. So that was great. I feel like I'm rambling here. I'm going to end it pretty soon. I would love to know if you have ever tested this out, just, asking for things, even as simple as a parking spot. And if you have, what are some cool stories? And if you haven't done it yet, what are some things that you would like to ask for? And you can just kind of play with it. And at the beginning, play with some pretty obvious things so that you gain some trust in the process. And then you can work your way up. As soon as you trust, I think things do come even more smoothly. So expect me back here again next Wednesday, not Tuesday. I'm going to do Wednesdays now. And if you are listening to me in the archives, then please be sure to click follow and like so that I know people are listening. As I know that interest is being garnered here, I am eventually going to open this up so that we can talk in real time. You can call in and we can chat. And I'm actually really excited about that. And I guess I haven't really done it yet because I'm a little bit nervous. I think I would take it as a rejection if no one calls in. That's something for me to work with. And I'm just going to lay it out there, being fully authentic with that. So as long as I know that people will want to call in, that they're interested, then I'll do it. And so please let me know. And you can let me know by liking and following. And that about rounds out the show. In terms of things that I'm into right now, it hasn't really changed in the past week. I'm still loving my rose tea lattes, my oracle cards, and I'm still also trying to avoid garlic and